Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of the great state of South Carolina, ranking member on the Senate Judiciary Committee and member of Appropriations and Budgets Committees. Great to see you. You chuckle, but I know you take it seriously.
Yeah.
They don't see what we feel and what we're experiencing in America.
Well, why is this happening? It's not because of unpredictable weather. It's very predictable. They changed all of Trump's policies. They eliminated Remain in Mexico. They eliminated all the agreements we had with people in the Northern Triangle countries. If you set one foot in America, the word is out, you can stay here and apply for asylum. So what's happening is a direct result of their policy changes, and nothing will change until they change their policy. One final thought. What Abbott is doing, Governor Abbott, sending these people to New York, they need to continue to do that. The only hope I see for change is when Democrats push back. Send these illegal immigrants to Democratic-controlled cities all over the country and making it real to Joe Biden's party. He would like to contain it all in Texas. How would you like to be living in Texas under that policy? So I applaud Governor Abbott doing what he's doing.
So talk to me a little bit about what that could look like, because the way that I see it, the cartels would just take over Texas. I mean, they would actually have a state that the White House would have given them.
Well, nobody crosses the border without cartel support. We finished the last mile of illegal smuggling. So 2 weeks ago, a smuggler associated with ISIS was bringing people here. This is 9/11. I remember where I was at. The broken border is not only bad domestic policy, it not only creates financial problems and human heartache, it is an open invitation to terrorists to come and hit us again. I've never seen a higher threat than I do right now. You've got Taliban back in charge of Afghanistan, safe haven being provided to terrorist groups in Afghanistan with a broken southern border. You got an ISIS guy smuggling people in. It's just a matter of time till we get hit again unless the administration changes their policy.
Well, and to share with our audience, you and I were talking off camera. You said changes them like in 24 hours.
Oh, we're living on borrowed time. I mean, like today. 2.5 million have come across that border illegally. How easy is it for a terrorist or a group of terrorists to get in the middle of these migrants? The Border Patrol is overrun. They're processing millions of people, so that leaves the border exposed.
Well, I've been to the border in the last few months. I know you've been there. When you go there, you understand that we could sneak in. I mean, seriously, they've taken all their clothes off when they get out of the Rio Grande, and they throw away their fake IDs into the grass. They put on other people's clothes that are dry, and they fan out. Texas has taken in 7 million. This city of New York has taken in 100,000. And you know they didn't all come on buses from Texas.
So we're from 6,000 to 10,000 a day, not a month, coming into the country legally. My real fear, 22 years after 9/11, is that our withdrawal from Afghanistan has put every jihadist on steroids, that the Taliban are human scum. There is no reformed Taliban. They're destroying women inside of their country. The number 2 or 3 guy in al-Qaeda was killed by us in Kabul. The combination of the terrorist group, the Taliban running Afghanistan, and a broken border is a lethal cocktail that's going to bite us as a nation. The warning signs are there, Mr. President. President Biden, we need to secure our border. You need to change your policy on immigration. You need to up your game. If you go to China, you better tell the Communist Party chairman, President Xi, that we're going to hold you accountable for all the fentanyl deaths.
So I'm going to ask my team, do we have a little bit of President Biden saying that he doesn't want to hurt China? They'll get back to me in a moment. I don't know how you go forth without showing strength against China, who just bucked the G20. They didn't even feel like they needed to go there. I think that's a little bit more about Modi, but
President Biden, you worried about not hurting China. China is hurting America.
100%.
They still are intellectual property. They're providing the precursors for the fentanyl poisoning. Fentanyl coming into our country is the leading cause of death of young people, and China is a key player in it. They're threatening to invade Taiwan. So what I want President Biden to do is to let the Chinese know that they're rock bottom in the United States Congress. There's one thing Republicans, Democrats agree on. We believe China's out of control. I want to push back on China. Mr. President, don't say you don't want to hurt them when they're hurting us. Tell them they're going to pay a price if they keep hurting us.
Here he is, the president of the U.S.
I don't want to contain China. I just want to make sure we have a relationship with China that is on the up and up, squared away. Everybody knows what it's all about. It's not about containing China. It's about having a stable base a stable base in the Indo-Pacific. We're not looking to hurt China, sincerely. We're all better off if China does well. China does well by the international rules, grows the economy.
Your reaction?
I never heard an American president so out of touch with reality. China is intricately involved in poisoning America through fentanyl. They steal our intellectual property at industrial levels. The FBI director said China is the biggest threat to our economy. They're threatening to invade Taiwan. They are now entertaining helping Russia. So President Biden's view of China is disconnected from reality.
You know, it's almost like they give him some talking points at the start of the day, and then he just sticks to those, because China just bought the largest pork plant in America. I mean, China is making a land grab for farms and other purchases here in New York City for these empty buildings since the pandemic. I mean, they are already here per Xi. How does that begin to change us?
Can you imagine how they took what President Biden said? He's coming over to China to assure them he doesn't want to hurt them. He's not apparently going to challenge them. I don't want a war with China, but you need to make it real. If you invade Taiwan, that'd be the biggest mistake you ever made. Look at what happened to Putin. If you keep helping poisoning America through the fentanyl supply chain, you're going to pay a price. You need to stop stealing our intellectual property. That's what I want him to tell China, that if you don't change, you're going to have an enemy in the United States. It's because of you in COVID that we're at rock bottom. It was China that destroyed America's economy through COVID. They've lied about the origins of COVID. They will not give us the information to find out where COVID came from. The average American considers China a threat because they are a threat.
All of that. And yet he wants to go there, meet with President Xi, and have some sort of a symbiote. I don't know what kind of a relationship.
He shouldn't go if that's what he's going to do. That statement, he should cancel the trip because they'll see this as a sign of weakness. Before he goes to China, he talks about how he's not there to hurt them, that he doesn't want to contain China. That's the absolutely wrong message. If Donald Trump were going, if Ronald Reagan were going, maybe any other president, the first thing you would tell China, if you don't change your behavior toward the United States, you'll regret it.
Last one for you, and I touched on it briefly. So with the G20, you had, the group of 20 nations that go, and then you had 19 because China didn't go. Look, he's outnumbered in terms of the population now by India.
Yeah.
Modi is ready.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's not something going on with him, and that's why he's getting together with everybody else. By the way, Russia, North Korea getting ready to get together. That completes the triangle with China. Maybe more people will come to the table. So
this administration has been coddling Iran. We had them in a box. They are a terrorist state that's trying to destroy Israel and would kill us if they could. So his policies, Biden's policies toward Iran, is making them stronger. He doesn't understand the threats apparently we're facing from China. He gave the Taliban back Afghanistan. He's got a broken border anybody can walk through. We're lucky that we haven't been hit already, and the policies he's pursuing is going to make China more emboldened. He's literally going to China to say, oh, will you be our friend? Rather than saying, if you don't stop poisoning America, stealing our intellectual property, you're going to be on the sanctions list. It's like he sees the world as Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Yeah, he sees he's the constantly, world. Yeah. I've never seen one guy so wrong about so much. So back to the border for just a moment. The vice president was here standing in for the president of the United States at Ground Zero this morning. And I made the comment that I don't think it's coincidental that she's talking now she can do his job. We know one job she can't do, and that's the border. And from what you've laid out today, it is our biggest weakness right now. Well, we got a broken border. We got terrorists back in charge of Afghanistan. How did we get, what was 9/11 all about? Radical Islamists were given safe haven in Afghanistan. They want to destroy our way of life. They want to destroy Israel. They want us all to bend to their knee when it comes to religion. They're still out there. They haven't given up their ambitions. We had them on the run in Afghanistan. We had them in a box. Now they're back out. You got a broken border and terrorists in charge of Afghanistan. It's a lethal cocktail on 9/11 22 years later. Wow. Senator Graham, before I let you go, what would you do about the situation between North Korea and Russia getting together at this point? Is that something we need to keep our eye on? I would tell China, you need to make sure North Korea doesn't help Putin. I would put the burden on them to rein in North Korea. And I would tell China, if we see any evidence you're providing weapons to Putin, you will be sanctioned. Putin should be a state sponsor of terrorism. I would hold China accountable for what North Korea is doing because North Korea couldn't last one day without China's support. This is how they could help limit this war. They could tell North Korea, if you sell weapons to Putin, you're going to be in trouble with the whole world, not just the United States.
All of it, bringing us full circle to the importance of this day, 22 years after 9/11. We promised to never forget. The least we could do is not...
It's not about forgetting. We have let our guard down. We're living in a dream world. President Biden's living in a dream world, and it's a nightmare for us. I hate to say it. All those who died here, God bless them. All the families injured here, God bless them. All the soldiers who've been fighting the war on terror 22 years. I can't believe 22 years after 9/11, the Taliban are back in charge because we gave them the country. Our border is completely broken, and President Biden's going to China to say, won't you be my friend?
Senator Graham, thank you for
God
being
bless.
here.
Thank you.
Always great to have you in focus and in person.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.